Well, hello, happy Monday. Welcome to a new week. Hope everyone's week is good. Tonight, oh, doggy. Was that Brenda's doggy? Oh, is it a little doggy? I want to see. Oh, that's the one. Wait, is she the one that you brought to the Fitme event? Yes. Oh, she is such a sweetie. Sweet doggy. Oh, she gave hugs. I just want to like hug her. Her ears are just so cute. Cute head. So tonight we're going to talk about stretching. It's been a while since I've talked about stretching. And I don't even remember if I've talked about stretching on this call, but I thought about it this morning while I was stretching because it's something that a lot of us say we need to do, but we never do it. And I almost feel like we don't do it because it's almost like when you don't have a goal with your workout, or if you don't have a program with your workout, you won't do it. Right? A lot of us will do our workouts if we have a coach saying, hey, you're going to do XYZ this week. And you're like, I can do that. And then you follow it and you're good to go. I feel like that's kind of the same way with stretching. At least it is for me. If I don't have something in mind and I'm like, I got to stretch here and here and here and here and here. I'm like, it takes forever, right? Because you're trying to think of what other stretches can I do? So I started doing, just in my own mind, breaking up my muscle groups of like, I'm going to spend 20 minutes on my lower body. And so I've been doing that and it's been working really good as far as I've been able to stick with it. So I wanted to cover first with stretching, just to clear things up of when you should be stretching. Now, depending on when you stretch, whether it's before your workout or after your workout, is going to depend on what your goals are. So when you're stretching before your workout, it should be to get you to your current flexibility or mobility where you're at currently. So like, let's say for us who are older and starting to feel the tightness in our joints, you get out of bed, you feel stiff, right? I think all of us can say that we've been there at some point where you get up and you just feel stiff. But once you start moving, your body gets warmed up. You're like, I'm at the level of flexibility and movement that is normal for me. That's what you're doing when you're warming up and stretching prior to a workout. You're just trying to get to your current level or normal of flexibility or mobility. You're not trying to increase your flexibility. So if you say, I have a tight hamstrings and I eventually want to be able to touch my toes, that's great. It's a good goal to have, but stretching before a workout is not where you work on that. Does that make sense? You don't want to overstretch your muscles or your joints prior to a workout because they become looser. So you're more prone to injury if you overstretch prior to working out. You only want to stretch just enough to where you feel like you can move well through your workout. After your workout is the time to stretch to increase your flexibility or your mobility. So if you have a goal of, I really have a tight back, I really have tight hips, take 20 minutes. Your body's really warmed up. Your muscles are really warmed up after your workout. So take 20 minutes to sit there and work on certain muscle groups and stretch them. So what I've been doing is I will do a little bit of a warm up. And then I will, if I'm just working on flexibility, like I need to work on getting my hips better, flexibility, mobility, then I'll do a warm up just to get my muscles loose. And then I will spend some time just working on flexibility. Like that is my goal for the day. I'm not worried about right now. I feel like I'm kind of just kind of in a different season right now with my workouts where I feel like I need to take a step back from like hardcore working out and really focus on my flexibility because my flexibility has really gone downhill. And really tight muscles can lead to injury down the road. So I need to like really take a step back and say, okay, I need to address my tightness, because if I continue to let this go and get worse, I'm going to end up setting myself back even further due to an injury because I didn't take the time to work on my tight muscles. So if you're kind of in that boat with me, I would encourage you to really put flexibility and talk with your coach about it too, of how to work on flexibility, kind of weaving that into your week. And it shouldn't take very long. The one thing about flexibility and lengthening our muscles is you have to be patient. It does take time. And one thing that I didn't realize until a couple of years ago is that you have to stay in a position of stretch for a decent amount of time. Like most professionals will say, try to make it to 5 minutes in one position, because you have your central nervous system fighting against you. So when you hit a stretch and you feel it, your body actually starts working against you. It protects itself to not overstretch, because then we overstretch, we pull a muscle. So our body will actually fight against itself to not overstretch. But yet, in a sense, we are trying to just gently overstretch to give that little bit more of a length. But our central nervous system will tighten up and will try to keep those muscles nice and tight. So the longer you hold it, and you have to breathe deeply. They say do a 4 counts in, 8 counts out as you're stretching and holding it for, if you can work up to 5 minutes. If you have to start at 1 or 2 or 3 minutes, that's okay. But eventually you're going to work yourself up to 5 minutes. And doing that deep breathing, that breathing will help to relax your central nervous system and to kind of tell your body, like, look, it's okay that we're doing this. This is a good thing. So those are just some quick tips that I have learned over the past couple of years when it comes to stretching. And I lost my train of thought. Oh, so what I've been doing is I will do hamstrings, inner thighs, and glutes. I'll just focus on those 3 muscles. And I will do 15 minutes. So 5 minutes on each muscle group. And then maybe the next day I will do, chest or back, or I'll choose like 3 more muscles. And then I will do 5 minutes each for the muscles, and it'll be 15 to 20 minutes. That's how I do it. So that way it's in smaller chunks, and I'm like, I can do 20 minutes. I can't do an hour, but I can do 20 minutes. Right. So it's a little bit more doable. If you need to break it down more, but make sure it's efficient. So if you can only do 10 minutes, that's okay. Do 5 minutes on one hamstring and do 5 minutes on the other hamstring, and you're good. So just break it down to whatever bite-sized pieces is going to work for you. I was just reading the comments, Teresa. I was reading that stretching can be good or better for high blood pressure than just walking. Yes. Stretching is good. It's like walking. It has multiple benefits. Stretching is the same way, especially when you add in the breathing part, because once again, it creates that parasympathetic. I always get confused between the parasympathetic and this, but it calms the nervous system down. So that way you're creating like a less free or stress-free environment in your body with your deep breathing. So while you're stretching and breathing deeply, it can bring your blood pressure down. So it's great to do before bed. A lot of people encourage stretching to before bedtime. So I know actually it kind of works out this week. Christy was talking about bedtime routines. So doing stretching before bed is actually a good benefit for sleeping better and lowering your heart rate because you're preparing your body for relaxation. So might think about doing that too, adding that to your bedtime routine. Okay, I know I went through that kind of quick. I was trying to hurry up and talk before I started like having a coughing fit. But do any of you have questions about stretching or how to come up with a plan? Or do you already incorporate stretching into your weekly routine? If you do, that's awesome. No, Isla, no. I saw that little head shake. No. I gotta grab water. Somebody. These peppers are killing me. Oh my gosh. Isla, my mom is trying to make tamales and she roasted peppers, and now my whole house is like fumigated with peppers and we can't stop coughing or sneezing. So I'm dying here. This is why I'm coughing. I figured you'd get a kick out of that. And she's watching YouTube video in Spanish, and her Spanish is really rusty. So we're trying to like use Google Translate. Yeah, we should do like a reality show. And you have my dad, who is like a redneck. My dad is like redneck. He comes wearing his Wranglers, his button-down Wrangler shirt. He's trying to help my mom make tamales. It's quite entertaining. My house is not boring, that's for sure.
So are you going to eat these tamales tonight?
I don't know. No, Isla said no, so they probably won't be ready.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I don't know. I've never made them before, so I have no idea the process.
So for your stretching, do you have like a YouTube video that you watch, or do you have like certain ones that you just are your go-to ones?
I don't have any videos that I follow. I'm sure there are some if you Googled them. I will look and see if there's any decent ones that I recommend. But I'm sure there's a ton of them on YouTube. I just try to keep it simple. Like today, I just sat on like your typical ones in like high school gym, right? You just sit on the ground and you stick one leg out and you lean over and like stretch. I did that one. I forget what the other one's called. It's where you lay on your back and you cross one leg over, and then you put your arm through and you pull, and it like gently pulls on your glutes, like on the side of your hip or your glutes. Like I did that one.
4.
The what?
The figure 4.
Figure 4. Thank you. I knew it was something 4 because it was like, it's 4, not 4. I couldn't think.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, thank you. I knew it was a 4, but I couldn't figure out what the other word was.
Yeah.
Figure 4. I used a band. Like, I'll show you. It's still here in my room. I used just a longer band, but if you have like another type of band, is fine. But so what I'll do is I'll lay on my back, and then I'll hook this on my foot like this, and then I'll gently let my leg fall out to the side. So it'll stretch the inner thigh. So it's a really good stretch for the inner thigh. So I did that. So I did inner thigh, hamstrings, and then I did hips or glutes, and that was it. And I spent about 20 minutes today. So, but yeah, if you need some guidance, YouTube is great. Always great they have a ton of stuff on YouTube, but I don't have any particular one that I follow. So good question though. I would say keep it simple. You don't need to get fancy with bands. If you don't have bands, they are helpful. They do come in use for different stretches, but you can easily use a wall, the floor. I mean, you don't have to get super fancy. And I might make a video of like different stretches that you can do just with, that I've learned from doing like physical therapy with the wall. Because that's really nice. That way you don't have to get fancy stuff. So any other questions?
Is your band, it looks like, sorry, stop. It's because I'm talking to you and not looking at her. Is it as simple as like, it looks like it's kind of a rope?
It's
band or
it's one of the it's a Rogue. Like if you've ever done CrossFit, you'll see like these bands. It's Rogue bands, but you can use a towel. If you had a long towel, you can use a towel. Or if you had a long rope or something that you could tie and make a sloop out of it, like you could use that too. Whatever you have that's long enough that you can hold on to as your leg goes out to the side is perfect. So it doesn't have to be a band. It's just, I like a band. But whatever you can find is good.
I pull a lot of stuff off Pinterest, and I've learned to make folders in the Pinterest stuff that I save, and even kind of breaking them down. I started with like stretching, and then it's like, well, there's so many different things for the different areas. Like I don't want to look through my whole stretching folder for legs. So I'm kind of breaking them down a little bit more. And there's a guy that I found on there just recently. I can't think of his name, but he has a lot of short little, they're in like yoga video kind of thing, but they're also like simple and not long. So I think the biggest thing with stretching, like for me, and everything we learn about, like walking 5 minutes a day is more advantageous than 0 minutes a day. And we just think that 5 minutes is so useless, but it's not. And then you build from that. And the same thing with stretching. I'm horrible with stretching, and I had my podiatrist tell me that I'm short muscled, and so like I'm extra tight. And I had some PT for a leg injury when I was training for a half marathon, and she taught me a lot, and I could feel the difference. I mean, I wasn't, limber do the splits, but I could tell just going through PT and doing the stretches and the movement she had me doing, I could feel, like you said, it takes time, but then you realize you can go a little bit further and it doesn't feel as tight. It's just having the patience and remembering to do it.
Right. That is the key, is having patience. I mean, that's like with anything, right? Whether it's your nutrition, your workouts, if you have a goal of weight loss, if you have a goal of strength, like it takes time for your body to make an adjustment. Especially when I feel like stretching though takes like, I don't know, maybe it's just in my head, but I feel like stretching is just a lot longer to get to your goal because it's like your body's fighting against you. And but consistency. And like you said, if you got to spend 30 seconds per muscle and that's all you can do, that's okay. Bye, Amy. Thanks for hopping on. If you can only do a minute per muscle group or, per side, like that's okay. Work up to what you can, but geez, I mean, just getting into that routine of doing it will be super beneficial. So, so if that is a goal, that is definitely going to be a goal of mine. I was thinking too, if anybody wanted, to do like a goal of stretching for the month of December, I'd be totally like on board to kind of go through that as like a, if you wanted accountability for stretching, because I really need to get better at doing it. And I think if we do a group of us and just, check in and say, hey, I did my stretching, and just kind of see how you feel after 30 days of stretching, and getting into that habit of doing it. So, I'm going to figure out how I'm going to do that, if I'm going to do it on the Facebook group or.
What about a Marco Polo group?
Yeah, we could do a Marco Polo group. Because I also want to share like videos, like different ideas for different body parts to stretch.
Or Facebook. Or Facebook would be real good too.
Yeah. So I might chat with the other coaches and see like if they want to put it out there to any of their people and figure if we want to do Marco Polo or if we want to do Facebook. So, but that way too, then I can share different things, different stretching techniques or, so I think it'd be really good though for a lot of us.
I didn't even think about the rope for the stretching is something I need to work. I have short arms,
Mm.
And so like my legs, I'm only 5'2", but my legs are the longer part of me. And so sometimes like I just can't get there. And the having a rope, I've worked with the elastic bands because of PT, but having a rope to do the stretches, I think would be really, really beneficial extra for me, just because of that little bit of limitation. Like
Yeah.
I may be limber, but I don't know if I can reach my toes yet. I mean, the more stretched out you get there, I would get there. But at the beginning, it's hard for some of those stretches to feel like I'm doing them correctly and being able to get something out of it.
Yeah. And one thing to remember too is when you're stretching, it should never hurt. It might be uncomfortable, and there's a difference between uncomfortable and hurting or pain. I mean, especially if you have a really tight muscle, you may not be able to go very far. It's going to feel a little bit uncomfortable, but it should never hurt you. So keep that in mind as you're stretching. We don't want to hurt our muscle, and we don't want to force the stretch. We just want to do it gently. And if that takes time, that's okay. We'd rather do it right instead of trying to force our body into something that's like not wanting to we just don't want to injure a muscle. So, but yeah, I will, I think it'd be good. I think December would be good to do like a stretching thing. I don't think we've ever really done anything like that before, like stretching or mobility. So I think it'd be good to do like a challenge for stretching. And there is a difference. I say mobility because there is a difference between mobility and stretching or flexibility. There's a difference between flexibility and mobility. So, mobility, maybe I'll talk more on that in January. We could do more of like a mobility challenge in January. But flexibility, we can do that for the month of December. So I will talk with the coaches and see what would be best platform to kind of put a small group together, whoever wants to do it, and we can go from there. So does that work? Yeah. Good.
Are you a person that uses a roller?
A foam roller? Yeah. Yes. I don't use it as often as I should. Foam rolling, I think it helps. I've heard other trainers say that it's more of a mental thing than a physical thing, that it really doesn't help. I personally think it does. So kind of to each their own on that one. But I have a foam roller. I like it. I feel like it personally helps me. So, oh my goodness. So apparently at Christmas, did my mom see that?
No.
Oh, okay. It's my mom's Christmas present. I wasn't expecting it today. That's funny. Oh, he's late. What time is it? Oh, it's only 5:30, but it's like pitch black outside.
I was just wondering, not partly if you used it in just as an idea, if that might be like a movement call that you do to help, or some recommendations, or. But I'm not sure what the interest would be.
Good. I don't know. Foam rolling. I don't know if I guess foam rolling is one of those things, like if you have a foam roller, I don't know if everybody would have a foam roller. Do you have one? Yeah.
But just as a concept for, even like you said, like explaining about stretching, but just an idea. And like you said, like you find benefit from it. So what people might find as benefits from it. And it can be very awkward.
Foam rolling? Yes, it can be very awkward. I tried having my brother do it when he was here a couple weeks ago because his quads had tightened up. And I'm like, just foam roll. And he's all, this is really awkward. I'm like, I know. It is very awkward. Another thing too, which we could get into, after the December challenge, if we do mobility in January, is a lacrosse ball or a tennis ball, because that really helps for kind of digging in for mobility, to dig into muscles that are hard to stretch but need tension worked out of it. Then you get a tennis ball or a lacrosse ball. So we can kind of go over that too, but that can be it. With the lacrosse ball, it's kind of like one of those it hurts so good type of digging in. So
That I think that probably have more interest than foam rolling, because
yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I personally like a ball over the foam roller, but I do like the foam roller for larger muscle groups. If I'm trying to just hit a large group like hamstrings or quads or calves, like I love the foam roller for that. Or even my back too. But for like the tiny muscles that can't really stretch, then a lacrosse ball is super helpful. So I'll have to show some different things with that too. But anyways, any other questions about stretching before I let you ladies go? I remember to take a picture. I always forget, get off the phone. I'm like, I forgot to take a picture. All right, if you ladies, you don't have to show your face, but if you want to show your face, you can. I'm gonna take a picture. And Isala, you can just smile. I know you're driving. All right, 1, 2, 3. Thank you. All right, ladies, if we don't have any other questions, thank you for hanging with me, and sorry about the coughing and hacking. I hope you ladies have a good night, and I will see you on Marco Polo.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.